Hi, my name's Stoney Timmons. I'm a tribal member from Robinson Rancheria, Eastern Pomo, from Lake County, California. Yeah, I got into this work because I wanted to help do my part in the land restoration and help plant these oak trees to get the ecosystem back to flourishing again from the recent fires we had over the years.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Daly. I live here in what's known as Potter Valley in northern Pomo Ancestral Territory. I'm passionate about this work because of the importance that oaks play in our ecosystem as a keystone species that so many animals rely upon. Oaks really need our help now in the North Coast Ranges, and they're dependent on humans in a lot of ways in order to regenerate and make it so that future generations will enjoy their presence in the landscape. Yeah, when I go out and gather acorns for planting, I like to ask permission of the tree and let them know that I'm going to borrow their little baby seeds and go back and plant them when the time is right, and kind of make a commitment to the seed that I'm going to follow through on my word. And when we're out gathering, we're looking for the acorns that are big and beautiful and healthy, and this is an example of a valley oak acorn that looks beautiful for planting. There's no signs of weevil damage from acorn weevils. There's no cap on it. It's not moldy. I'll compare it to, say, this one that has the exit hole of a little weevil that eats the seed from the inside out and makes it less viable. You can see kind of the mold on it, and you want to look always at the butt of the acorn. That's what I call it. I don't know. If there's mold or damage down there too, that makes it not good for planting. Here's an example of that. And even this one that looks otherwise pretty healthy, you can see that tiny little speck. And if you run your finger over it, there's like a bump, and that's weevil damage, and you can see some other damage on the acorn. So you got to kind of look over each seed, and you really want to pick your most beautiful seeds for planting. And I like to try to find the biggest acorns, because imagining that there's, more energy stored in that seed.
This is a chart that will help you identify different species of oaks and acorns found in Northern California. You can find this chart at www.katemarionchild.com, created by the author of Secrets of the Oak Woodlands, which is a great book on oak woodland ecology.
So after you've gathered your acorns, until you're ready to plant, you'll need to find a good way to store them. And I like to kind of mimic their natural environment and gather some mulch from where I've gathered the acorns and kind of layer it into a bucket and place the acorns inside. And I leave it out in the sun and the rain, and it'll kind of sprout naturally that way. If it's super dry, like it has been this fall, I've been sprinkling, giving it a little bit of water, and that will help encourage the acorns to sprout. This one's not sprouted yet, but some of them will start to pop open, and that'll kind of help speed up their the time that it takes them to put their roots down, which gives it a little bit of a jump start. Right now I'm happy that these haven't sprouted because it hasn't rained, and so we still have good acorns. You can also put your acorns in a paper bag with a little bit of leaf litter and place them in the refrigerator as well and keep them cold. The cold also will help speed up the germination process.
Here's an example of our acorn storage system where we've stored acorns in buckets, making sure to label them with the species and where they were collected. You can plant acorns unsprouted or sprouted, as long as the radicle or root tip is intact and has not yet blackened. After you remove them from storage, make sure that you sort through them again to make sure you don't plant any moldy acorns or any acorns whose roots are damaged. If you're going to plant acorns that have sprouted, make sure that you place the sprouting radicle or root facing downwards and don't damage the root as you're planting.
So if you look at the hills up behind us, This is more of a habitat of blue oak and Oregon white oak, more in the uplands, hotter and drier than what the valley oaks need down in the bottomlands. And when you're choosing which species to plant, you want to look for clues like what kind of other oak species are already there, and what kind of conditions are you in, and that will help determine which species to plant there. So here we are in kind of a bottomland habitat. We're going to be planting valley oaks out here. Valley oaks are, good water-loving trees, sometimes called swamp oaks, that like the fertile, lush, wet valley bottoms. This is an old valley oak behind us, and you can see a lot of kind of the valley bottom land is now agriculture, and so they've lost a lot of habitat. But this is a site where we're going to be trying to kind of restore these floodplains into valley oak habitat.
Acorns and young seedlings need protection from predators. We first plant acorns in seed baskets to protect them from rodents such as rabbits, mice, voles, gophers, and ground squirrels. The seed baskets are made of 1/4 inch hardware cloth and are about 2 feet tall and 8 inches in diameter. Their bottoms are made of 1/2 inch aviary netting ungalvanized so that they decompose into the soil as the roots mature. Dig a circular hole about 12 inches wide and about 6 inches deep. Fit the basket inside and backfill with soil so that the soil fills up to the natural level. Each seed basket is planted with 3 seeds. Make sure they are good quality. Acorns are planted just under the soil about 1/4 inch deep. Cover the bare soil with leaf duft from a mature oak. That will help keep moisture in the soil, as well as inoculate the planting area with soil microbiology from a healthy oak tree. Cover the inside of the basket with a ring around it a few inches deep and about 30 inches in diameter. Now that the acorns are protected from rodent predators, we're going to look at ways to protect young oak seedlings from the browsing of domesticated animals such as sheep and cattle, as well as wild animals including deer and elk.
This is an example of protecting young oaks using brush found on site. The advantage of this method is that the brush will decompose over time and help build the soil. It is also free and low impact. The downside is that the brush adds surface fuel and could increase fire risk, but it is a fun, family-friendly way to protect young oaks that can become sculptural and artistic as well. So this is a kind of another type of browse protection. These are called tree tubes, and they're about 24 inches tall. We have a 36-inch piece of 1/4 inch rebar holding it in. And essentially, if you lift the tube up, you can see there's a little oak seedling under here. This one's just finishing its 2nd season, so it's about time to replace these now with a bigger browse protection with T-posts and chicken wire around it so they can start to fill out. And these can get real hot in the summertime. Sometimes it's nice to give the seedlings another good bit of water a couple times in the summer if they're in here, because this has kind of a little hothouse effect on the young seedlings.
A stronger form of browse protection involves T-posts and chicken wire. On sites where cattle are present, we use 4 6-foot long metal T-posts pounded in about 18 inches. They are spaced out about 2 feet apart and make a 4-foot square cage. Drive the T-post in at least 12 inches using a gas-powered T-post pounder or a handheld T-post pounder. Be sure to wear ear protection. A helper can help hold the T-posts and make sure they stay vertical and are not leaning in any direction. Once the T-posts are driven in, you can wrap them in your 100-inch long chicken wire. We use 48-inch tall chicken wire with 1-inch holes. You'll need a piece about 100 inches long to wrap the 4-foot square cage. You'll see that the T-posts are studded. Make sure that the studs are face outwards. It makes the chicken wire easier to attach. Keep the wire as close as possible to the ground so that animals can't make it under. Stretch the wire tight and wrap it tight into the corners so that your cage is nice and firm.